Tender flaky homemade pastry tucked into cups, dotted with raisins and chopped pecans, filled with a gooey and sweet, buttery filling. 3 words say it all. Butter tarts, eh? Yup, today the best ever old-fashioned butter tarts. Easier to make than you might think, where we grab a food processor to create the flakiest pastry dough in record time. We fill a tin with tart shells, chop some pecans and soak some raisins, add melted butter and sugars to eggs, then fill the shells and bake. First bite says it all, but wait, maybe I better show you how to make them first. Let's start with a pastry. To begin, we have a 1 cup liquid measure. We're gonna add 1 egg plus 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, grab a fork, whisk to combine, then add enough cold water for a total of half a cup of liquid, whisk again. If you're making these tarts on a really hot day, add 1 or 2 ice cubes to keep that liquid cold. It needs to be very cold. You can set it to the side for a moment. Next, we have a bowl with 2 1/4 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. Add half a teaspoon of kosher salt, stir to combine. Set the dry mix to the side while you grab your food processor fitted with a blade attachment. We're gonna add half the quantity of flour into the canister, then 2 fats. Half a cup of butter, it's cold and cubed. So is half a cup of vegetable shortening. Then sprinkle the rest of the flour salt mix into the processor. The lid goes on. We're gonna run on low speed until you get small, pea-sized crumbs. Now sprinkle those crumbs with 6 tablespoons of that cold liquid, then run the processor again on low, and just like that, magic, the liquid and dry mixture clump up to form a dough. If you feel the dough's a little too dry, you can add maybe 1 more tablespoon of the liquid, then run again to bring it together. Spill the dough onto a lightly floured surface, bringing it together by hand. Do not overwork. Then we're gonna wrap it up, transfer it to the fridge. The dough needs to chill for at least 1 hour. I always make the dough the day or the night before, because then when it comes to butter tart making day, which is pretty much a national holiday around here, everything goes without a hitch. Let's continue. Once the dough is chilled, we're gonna lightly flour our work surface, then roll out the dough, not too thin, maybe a 1/4 inch thickness. We're gonna cut out 4-inch circles using a cookie cutter or a glass or a cup or a bowl. I cut, then I gather up the dough and continue until I have 12 uniform discs at the ready. Then we're gonna transfer the rounds of dough to a large 12-cup non-stick muffin pan. We're gonna push each disc down into the well. If the dough crimps a bit, it's all part of the charm. No 2 butter tarts are ever alike. We're then gonna transfer the shells to the refrigerator. We're gonna chill for 30 minutes. While the shells are chilling, the great debate. Do we add dried fruit, like raisins and currants? Do we add nuts, like pecans and walnuts? It's up to you. But for my family and friends, this is what they love. Pecans, a 1/4 cup. We're gonna roughly chop them. Here's what they should look like. Then I have raisins, a 1/4 cup in a bowl. I'm gonna top them up with boiling water, soak for 10 minutes. It's gonna plump them up. Then we're gonna strain and drain them onto a paper towel lined plate to remove excess moisture. Now we're getting ready to bake, so let's preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Time to make the filling. I have a small saucepan. I'm gonna add 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of butter, a 1/4 cup of pure Canadian maple syrup. Okay, and for all my American friends watching, yes, the exceptionally good maple syrup from the state of Vermont works perfectly in this butter tart recipe, so get to it. Back to our saucepan, we're also gonna add a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar plus half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Now head to stovetop, moderate heat, Stir while the butter melts and the sugars and salt dissolves. Not too high though, lukewarm should do the trick. Back to the work surface, I have a large liquid measure. We're gonna crack 2 eggs, they're at room temperature. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. Whisk to combine. Then continue whisking while we drizzle in that melted butter sugar mixture. The butter tart filling is done. Okay, time out. I just have to say something amazing is about to happen. We're gonna drop the raisins and nuts in the shells. I'm gonna add the filling. We're gonna send them to the oven. But the aromas that fill a kitchen when butter tarts bake at home or at the cottage, unbelievable. Wait until it happens to you. Back then to the recipe. Here are those tart shells. They're chilled. We're gonna add a few raisins and chopped pecans to each, and then the filling. Only go up about 3/4, never fill right to the top. Then we're gonna transfer the butter tarts to the oven. We're gonna bake for 10 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, we reduce the oven temperature down to 375 and let's rotate the pan. We're gonna bake for an additional 8 to 10 minutes more. Mine went for a full 10 minutes more until the pastry got golden and the centers were no longer jiggly, they were set firm. When they come out of the oven, the centers may be domed, but they're gonna settle down, and when they're cool, you can twist them out of the pan. If any stick, just grab a sharp knife to loosen the edges, then we're ready to enjoy. Now I get to do a cut-in. I want to show you the anatomy of perfectly prepared, old-fashioned butter tarts. Watch this. The pastry is flaky. It kind of shatters as we go in, but the inside is gooey, soft, and there's a beautiful, glorious gloss. Those raisins and nuts are peeking out, begging to be enjoyed. And so, this is us sharing a treasured keepsake recipe with you. We know you're gonna enjoy. Full recipe is up at weekendatthecottage.com. When you're visiting our website, please subscribe to it. Look for this video on our dedicated YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it as well. And then when butter tarts are this beautiful, take a picture of them, post them on your favorite socials using hashtag weekendatthecottage on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. The absolute best old-fashioned butter tarts. Pretty awesome, eh? You bet. Incredible. Like, you gotta make, honestly, everybody gotta make one.